The next presentation is coming from my colleague Fei Fei, who is working with me on gamification, and she's going to introduce briefly the gamification era. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Fei Fei talking about gamification. Jessica is going to explain to you what she's doing. Then we're going to see what Liz has done in the coffee castle nearby here with the game recently. And then we'll end up with augmented reality. I know that's getting a little bit late. Bear with us. We've got some very, very exciting things coming up.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? My name is Fei Fei. I'm a senior lecturer of the School of Tourism. Today, I'm very glad to share with you some of my results of a project funded by university called the Gamification of Tourism. And my presentation today is called Marketing Tourism by Electronic Games, Understanding Tourist Players' Motivation. You would like to ask me, why gaming? Well, here is the answer. According to the world travel market, the gamification is actually a major trend for the coming years in tourism, which would appeal to not only to the young generations, but also to slightly older people, which including you and me. I'm sure this morning you heard a presentation about the senior citizens' active involvement in technology and social networks. So it's not just for younger generations, but also for older people as well. In tourism, the current use of games, probably we are not very familiar with, but there are already some pioneers like Tourism Ireland, Tourism Thailand, and Germany, and also our neighbor here, Coffee Castle. I'm sure Liz will tell you more about this. However, not all the game apps are very successful. Sometimes they fail to engage travelers. Sometimes they lack of fun. 4 of us turned up in the location wanting to play the mobile game, but only one of us because it is a bit challenging or it's boring. 3 of us just give up. So they're not always helpful. They're not always successful. Sometimes they hardly implement facts about tourist sports. Why? Because the game developers, they are usually a technical person. They don't understand the tourist views. They don't understand the tourist motivations and needs to play. Therefore, a user-centered approach is very important. Therefore, we need to understand why do tourists play games. The digital marketing actually is facing a new challenge. The new challenge is with the grown-up of a new generation, what the literature call them Generation G. I turned up in my son's nursery. He's only 3. I wanted to pick him up and take him home. I saw a group of children, 3 years old, sitting around there and play the games on iPad, Kung Fu Panda, Fruit Ninja. Now my son, he's an expert now. Would you believe it? You probably would not believe it. He's only 3. And imagine that in 15 years, he's going to become a teenager and trying to explore the world, traveling all over the places. And imagine the technology by then. I cannot imagine what's going to happen then. So actually, game-based marketing is a very new form of digital marketing. It could help increase brand awareness to potential customers. It could also create an immersive and engaging experience for tourists, particularly with the technology of augmented reality and virtual reality. And also, a lot of times we can see actually the game players prefer an online community. They feel a kind of sense of belonging to the online community. So it's useful for games for marketing. May I ask you, probably you're not familiar with gaming, but I'm sure all of you are quite familiar with the concept of holiday. Why do you go on holiday? You can probably tell me, well, I like the sunshine. I would like to escape away from my daily life. I would like to know more about Paris. I would like to know blah, blah. You probably come up with a lot of things, which I listed here. You might find some. And actually, gaming is not that new because we already started to play games. Let me ask some of the young faces here. Do you play games? Yes, you do. Do you play mobile games? You do. Why do you play mobile games? Because it's fun, yes. Thank you, very good. Actually, we can see there are quite a lot of overlapping things here, but according to our knowledge, there is no research up to now looking at why tourists play games. So that's we are trying to find out why the tourist players. We did the focus groups with 26 students, university students, asking them their general use of mobile phones, their gaming activity on holiday, and their opinions and ideas on specific tourism games. I'm aware of the time, so I just very, very quickly share with you some of the ideas. The general use of smartphones and the role of gaming is quite popular. They all welcome gaming as an activity for the general use of their smartphone. And why do we play games on holiday? And I found this interesting. People like to play games before they go on holiday. It's usually before the trip they play games. When they're actually on the destination, they don't want to play it. They want to actually enjoy the sunshine, enjoying the attractions. They don't want to play the games. And after the trip, they might want to complete their tasks or missions given by the game. And I've also asked what type of games do you prefer, and I see the difference between male and female. Females usually like puzzle games or brain games, and males like kind of role play adventure games, which supporting the literature. And I've asked why do you play games on holiday, and which is what I come up with a sort of conceptual model. They start with curiosity, this specific tourism game. They think is an innovative idea of marketing tourism. Therefore, they all would like to explore, to have a look. What does it look like? And then I come up with the second sort of main theme for motivation is explore the destination. They think it's a good way and a quick way and a very useful way to know the destination. During the first, I played a video of Thailand, the mobile game of Smiland, Thailand. So they had a sort of idea of what does it look like. They think it's a very useful way to explore the destination. And this is quite interesting here. The socialize here, they mention is they would like to socialize with people who might also go on holiday. They might want to know people. If they had the opportunity to develop the networks and go together, that would be a useful idea for them. They also mentioned they would like to actually interact with people who like a local resident, but they also on the online community. Therefore, they could like to get some practical information from those residents. So that sort of interaction, including both tourists and the local residents, but this local residence is actually in the online community. And then they also mentioned some fun and fantasy experiences, like just now Zoe said, because it's fun. Yes, every game should be fun. If it is not fun, nobody would like to play it. Yes, true, but all this comes after the purposive information feed. When they get enough information about the destination, about the game, then they would like to have a bit of fun and fantasy, and even for challenging and achievement. So that's very, very brief of my funding here, which suggests that the motivation identified in the study actually reflects a mixture of tourist needs and motivation, but also showing a kind of purposive feeding, which is quite important. But also they would like to play with fun and fantasy when they get more experiences of the game. So this is something maybe we could look at for the DMOs when they particularly look at developing a specific tourism game. Here we go, that's my references, and Angry Bird, and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fei Fei. Do you have Happy Birds?
Pardon?
Do you have Happy Birds?
Happy Birds, yeah. I should have developed a new Happy Bird game, yeah.
Any questions for Fei Fei? Like to say who you are, where you come from, and what's your perfume?
Okay. Roger Colmer, a student, Bournemouth University. 2 points of clarification.
What's your perfume?
Not telling you. First,
You're not asking a question.
DMO, what does that mean, please?
Oh, Destination Management Organization. Sorry,
Right.
my apology. I should have explained a bit earlier. Yeah.
And the second question, just really for clarification, on the slide where you showed why do you play games on holiday, on the left-hand side, motivation was represented by a triangle. Why? Does that mean anything?
Here,
Yeah?
there's kind of what's the word? Increasing. It starts with majority of people mentioned curiosity, and majority of people mentioned explore the destination, and then less people would like to play fun and fantasy, and even less people are actually achieving challenging and achievement.
So
kind
from
of
your survey, that's statistical sample size, is it?
I've only done 4 focus groups. It's not. It's a lot of quantitative study, but it's a qualitative exploration. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? Yep.
Thank you. Peter Travis. I think this was a really interesting presentation. I hope we might get copies of the slides at some stage.
Yeah.
At the moment, very few websites have got games on them, so it's the ones that have, who've got good games, have got a big competitive advantage. Supposing everyone in the room said, oh, we'll put games on our websites, would that soften the impact, or would it just then mean that the best games would be the ones that work better?
It's very interesting because we've done another paper on the concept of gamification. So I guess what your question is more related to the gamification, which is using gaming ideas and mechanism in the non-gaming concept, which is we develop points. If you play games, you know we have points, leaderboard, and things. So they borrow those ideas and gamify your mobile app or your apps rather than just have a particular game. So something like that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Fei Fei. Click, click, click.